thanks to Taejong Yi Bang-won, who took on the role of the villain to set the stage. The fourth king, Sejong the Great, was able to open the most brilliant golden age in the history of Joseon. Here are a few interesting behind-the-scenes stories about King Sejong's achievements. Book, A Professional English Speaking. Driving tour for a comfortable and insightful journey through Seoul. Reservation 0288 0582. KakaoTalk Inquiry thanksai. 1. The creation of Hangul, studying to the point of blindness. Hangul Hunminjeongeum was a secret project carried out by King Sejong. Despite strong opposition from his officials, the ultimate self-learner Sejong loved books so much that, even when he developed an eye disease and nearly lost his sight, he did not stop his research. Love for the people with the single-minded determination that no commoner should suffer injustice because they cannot read. He analyzed the principles of sound and created the most scientific script in the world. 2. Joseon's science and technology, reaching the world's peak. During Sejong's era, he appointed a genius technician named Jang Yong-sil and churned out numerous inventions. Chugugi, the world's first rain gauge, which helped with farming by measuring rainfall. Sundial, Angbulgu, and water clock, Jagyokru, for the commoners. Who could not read, he showed consideration by engraving animal pictures instead of numbers on the sundial, so that anyone could tell the time. Chiljong-san. He created an independent calendar system tailored to the skies of Joseon, accurately predicting solar and lunar eclipses. 3. A more human side of Sejong. Love for meat. King Sejong was a legendary meat lover. It is said that he would not pick up his spoon if there was no meat, to the extent that Taejong's will stated, "Let him eat meat even during the mourning period." Introduction of parental leave. He gave 130 days of leave, before and after childbirth, to government slaves, and even provided 30 days of paternity leave to husbands. Even by today's standards, this was a remarkably advanced welfare policy. 4. Sejong's true achievement, communication and debate. Sejong did not make decisions arbitrarily. When deciding on major national policies, he prioritized communication, even conducting a survey of about 170,000 citizens, a tax system survey before implementing the Gongbiop law. The reign of King Sejong can be described as an era completed through the meeting of Taejong's powerful strength and Sejong's warm wisdom. After the death of King Sejong, Joseon once again faced a turbulent period. Let's look into Sejong's son, Munjong, his grandson, Danjong, and Sejong Grand Prince Suyang, who usurped the throne. Behind the peaceful era of King Sejong awaited the most tragic and intense power struggle in Joseon history, the emergence of Grand Prince Suyang Sejong. Here are the key events of this period, famously known as the subject of the movie The Face Reader. 1. Munjong's short reign and the young king Danjong. Munjong, the first son who succeeded Sejong, was as brilliant and benevolent as his father, but his body was too weak. He passed away after only 2 years of reign, leaving the throne to his 12-year-old son, Danjong. The beginning of tragedy. As the young king ascended, royal authority weakened, and the power of the officials grew. At this time, Sejong's ambitious second son, Danjong's uncle Suyang, began to move. Yan Keujongnan, do I have the face of a king? In 1453, Suyang gathered strategists like Han Mayong-ho, eliminated opponents such as Kim Jong-seo, and seized power. This is the Geujongnan, Sejong's ascension. Eventually, he ousted his nephew Danjong and ascended the throne, himself the seventh king, Sejong. Danjong's end Danjong, who was demoted and exiled to Yongwol, Gangwon-do, eventually met a tragic death at the young age of 17. 3. The two faces of Sejong Grand Prince Suyang. Although criticized as a cruel usurper for ousting his nephew, his achievements as a king were as powerful as those of Taejong Yi Bang-won, strengthening national defense and the Gyeongguk Daejeon. He began compiling the Gyeongguk Daejeon, the basic legal code of Joseon, to complete the foundation of the state. Strong centralization. He significantly reduced the authority of officials and re-established a system where the king decided everything directly. Suffering from skin disease in his later years, perhaps due to guilt over killing his nephew, he suffered from a severe skin disease boils. He converted to Buddhism and traveled to temples nationwide to repent the story of Manjusri. Bodhisattva at Sangwonsa Temple is famous for Sayaksin and Sangyuksin. This refers to the figures who remained loyal to Danjong until the end, opposing Sejo's usurpation of the throne. Sayuksin's 6 officials, including Seong Sam-moon and Bak Pang-nyon, who kept their integrity through death. Sangyuksin's 6 officials, including Kim Si-sup, who gave up their positions and lived as commoners to maintain their loyalty. The charismatic rule of Grand Prince Suyang stabilized Joseon, but it also left a deep scar, a tragedy within the royal family. Later, Joseon reached its institutional peak during the era of Seongjong, when the Gyeongguk Daejeon was finally completed. Next, we will look at the eventful stories of Seongjong, Sejo's grandson, who continued Joseon's golden age, and his son, Yeonsangun, the greatest tyrant in Joseon history. The Joseon dynasty saw the completion of a brilliant state governed by law during the era of Seongjong. However, during the reign of his son, Yeonsangun, it fell into unprecedented tragedy and chaos. Here is the story of 2 kings who stood at opposite extremes. 1. The completer of Joseon, the 9th king, Seongjong Cheongjong. As his name suggests, Seong meaning to achieve or complete, Seongjong was the monarch who achieved the completion of Joseon's systems and culture, completion of the Gyeongguk Daejeon. He finally finished and promulgated the fundamental legal code of Joseon, which had been in development since the reign of Sejo. Through this, Joseon became a nation, ruled by law rather than a country swayed by the whims of the king. Academic pursuit and communication. He established the Hongmongwan to succeed the Jipyeonjeon, and was a study bug who most diligently participated in Gyeongyeon royal academic discussions with his officials 3 times a day. Appointment of the Sarim to keep the Hungu faction meritorious subjects in check. He brought Sarim scholars from the countryside into central politics to strive for a balance of power. 2. The seed of tragedy. The incident of the deposed Queen Yoon. Seongjong had a major concern, his conflict with his wife, Queen Yoon. In an unprecedented incident, the intensely jealous Queen Yoon left scratch marks on Seongjong's face. Eventually, despite the opposition of some, she was sentenced to death by poison. This tragedy would later bring a massive bloodbath. During the reign of her son, Yeonsangun. 3. The mad tyrant. The 10th king, Yeonsangun Yenshanjun. Yeonsangun initially tried to govern reasonably well, but he gradually began to spiral. More Sahwa and Gapja Sahwa literati purges. He purged a large number of officials who challenged his authority. In particular, during the Gapja Sahwa, he took brutal revenge on everyone involved in the death of his mother, deposed Queen Yoon, including Bugwan Chamsi, the disinterment and decapitation of those already dead. Hungcheong Mangcheong. He selected Kisengs, Unpyeong from across the country, brought them into the palace, called them Hungcheong, and held banquets every day. The Korean expression Hungcheong Mangcheong, meaning to spend money like water until ruined, originated from this, blocking communication. He forced officials to wear Sinonpoi cautionary plaques around their necks, which read, "The mouth is the gate to disaster, and the tongue is the sword that cuts the body," to silence them. Sata, Jungjong Panjong, the dethroned king. Finally, unable to endure any longer, officials raised an army, ousted Yeonsangun, and placed his half-brother Jungjong on the throne. Yeonsangun was exiled to Ganghwa Island, where he ended his life in loneliness. This is why he is remembered as a gun prince. Rather than a Jo or Jong king, it seems that even the perfect system established by Seongjong was not enough to stop the rampage of a single individual. After Yeon Sang-gun, Joseon entered an era of fierce, factional politics bungdang jongchi among officials vying for power. Experience Joseon history with an expert guide. Do you want to see the very spots where these historical dramas unfolded? Book a professional English-speaking, driving tour for a comfortable and insightful journey through Seoul. Reservation 020TTS8 80582. KakaoTalk Inquiry, thanksai.